Hi, Tony.
Hello.
So my first question is why Cassian Andor? Because if you take any Star Wars property and it's populated with such brilliant characters and brilliant worlds, there's always such a kind of myriad of potential spin-off ideas. So when taking Rogue One, what made you go, okay, this is our guy. This is who we want to see more of?
Well, it was a Disney idea, but I think it's pretty low-hanging fruit. I don't know. Is there a character who's sacrificed more? I mean, is there a character who seems as complicated and as morally complicated, tactically brilliant, obviously trusted enough to be sent out on this thing? I mean, the little pieces of information that we know about him from Rogue, every single one is fascinating. So I don't know how you could pick a better character.
Yeah, I mean, because I think there was that line, wasn't there, when in Rogue One, where he says he's been doing this since he was 6 years old.
Yeah, I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old. Yeah, you know, and I wrote that, and you're like, I don't even know what that means, but it was important. And then you come back, and I mean, but that's an amazing character to come back and deal with.
Yeah. So what were your kind of inspirations and influences here? Because it felt like a real thriller and even had kind of film noir type elements. Like, it was like the sort of thing you could imagine Jack Nicholson doing in the 70s. I just wondered where you kind of grabbed your kind of inspirations from in regards to the tone and look of this show.
Our overriding mandate for everything is to make it real. I mean, that's absolutely real wherever we go. It was really Disney and Lucasfilm. Really, they kept saying they wanted to do something really ambitious and really different, and we kept challenging them. There's a lot of foreplay that goes in before you're actually fully committed on both sides. So we just kept pushing and pushing. Oh, we want the production designer from Chernobyl, and we want to do that first scene, and we want to do this, and like they just kept stepping up and saying yes, and we kept doing our job. And I mean, it influences. I'm doing the same thing I've been doing all the way my whole life. I didn't change my game to do the show. I tried to find a way to fit into the show what I always do. And then you have this enormous opportunity of the scale of it and the length of it. And that's something I've never had the chance to do before. And sometimes it feels a little bit overwhelming, but most of the time it's exciting.
I loved the kind of tone and feel to this. Was it a challenge to create something quite new and unique, and yet still be within the kind of remit of the Star Wars universe, to be kind of different and familiar at the same time?
I tell you what it is. It's a maximally imaginative experience, because there's nothing. Our attitude is, instead of going in a more, this is an overgeneralization, but a traditional Star Wars approach is, oh my God, look where we are. We're in this incredible place, and there's some people down there. Let's see what they're doing. That's kind of, in a general sense. Our attitude is, no. Let's start here. And oh my God, if we happen to see where we are, then good luck to us and whatever. But it doesn't matter if you say that. We have to design everything. If I was going to say, oh, we're doing a Star Wars publicity junket, Luke and I would have to sit down and go, what does a Star Wars publicity junket look like? What is it? What's the equipment? What's the room like? We have to do everything. We can never say the bakery. We can never say the bodega. We can never say the library. Everything has to be built. So you end up in an automatic, you end up really deep into a Star Wars aesthetic right from the very beginning, because everything has to be built from the ground up.
And I think, this alongside sort of Rogue One was such a political movie, this political series dressed up obviously in a big kind of sci-fi fantasy. But do you think sometimes through genre movies we can approach the real world in the most raw and direct way? And why do you think that might be?
Well, it's just liberating. You don't have to be pinned down by, it's so, because we're doing the thing today. So all these questions, oh, it's about a contemporary story. It's about refugees, or it's about Ukraine, or it's about this, or it's about, but the beauty of it is that all these things that we're experiencing now are things that there's 1,000 comps through history. There's always been exiles. There's always been war. There's always been. So if you're doing fantasy or science fiction, or you don't have to go through the catalog of modern current events. You have the whole encyclopedia of all history. I get to cherry pick from every revolution. I'm picking the best things and the worst things about every revolutionary movement that I know about. The best things about the winds of war and what happens to people in we can be with the French Resistance, or we could be with Boudica, or we can be with Toussaint in the Haitian Revolution. You could do anything. I mean, That's the great opportunity. You have the whole catalog to play with.
And just very, very finally, I sort of ask sometimes the actors if they get to keep any bits of memorabilia, you know, be it a sword they used or a piece of clothing they wore. As a sort of, you know, the creator of this, the person for working kind of behind the lens, do you still get to keep any souvenirs? Do you have any little props or bits from
I have a very, very special. Yeah, I could probably be much more greedy than I am. I have one very special thing that I've taken from the show. And Nick Bertel has a companion piece to it. It's a musical instrument, and that's the least. That's the most I'll say about it, because it's a spoiler and it comes at the end. But there's a very huge musical component in the show, and so Nick and that's what I took. I took a musical instrument.
Cool, brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Tony. Best luck with the rest of the series. Cheers. Take care. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey, you guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey!